Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Sunday. More TTRPG stuff. We're back. Episode 13. Season 2. Pariahs. Oh, hello. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Or close to the end of the weekend, at least. Cheers. Jump. Thank you. Hang on. Jump. Thank you for those 50 months.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. What's the Let's Get Physical thing for, though? What's that all about? Would you care to elaborate?
And Vanya. Yeah, Reza and Vanya are gonna roll on the ground together today.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's a quote if I ever did fucking hear one.
It's gonna be one of those sessions. Yeah. Well, welcome in, everyone. Hello. How are we?
Quite well.
Good. It feels like we were here not 5 minutes ago.
Bit of deja vu.
Yeah. Oh, man.
How'd that go yesterday? I got to pop in for like a couple of seconds, but
Yeah.
Did you guys have a good time?
We did.
The Emperor was pleased.
Yeah. A few niggles from my end with it being a whole new world, a whole new system. Foundry wasn't playing ball as much as we would have liked. But for an episode 1 of a whole new world, I think it went as...
A whole new world. Sorry.
I knew that was coming.
All right, that's on that note. See you all next week for episode 14, everyone.
No one.
What happened last
All
week?
All I have to do to end the session is sing Good to Know.
Cypher, save me from this torment. What happened last week?
Well, fresh from our little, not shopping trip, because we didn't shop, we bartered.
Mm-hmm.
Our bartering trip for some shinies. Well, Reza was peckish, and Garrett was like, I can see money in my future. Yes, we shall go to the Bloodworks. So yeah, off to the Bloodworks we went, and immediately Reza takes on the persona of a hoity-toity vampire, and decided that everybody else was her underlings. Ha ha ha! Very funny.
I mean,
Glad you enjoyed yourself.
it worked.
It worked.
I mean, it did work because we got in there, got shown around, and immediately she hit it off with the chattiest fucking vampire I've ever met.
How many vampires have you met?
Like, one,
1,
two,
2,
three,
3, 4, 5, including Reza.
6, including the vampire spawn.
Oh yeah.
So
I like how you know which ones. I like how you know which ones I was thinking there as well. It's almost like we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Gate, Vulpescu, Cordeia, Reza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, do continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so there you go. I've met more vampires than you thought, haven't I? Smart ass. So yeah, Reza hit it off swimmingly. It turns out, left to their own devices, vampires will fuck around with a message fucking spell, just chatting shit. Yeah, they are teenage girls at 300-year-old. But that worked really in our favor. We learned all about, well, not all about, like, the basics and some lesser known details about how the Bloodworks work. People are screened, they donate, they're kind of ranked depending on where they live and who they are, blah blah blah. If needs be, they can be purified with divine magic using a device of some kind, presumably from the city below, probably one of the coroner's shit that is just misplaced. I assume that's what happened. He's like, where the fuck did I put that? Doesn't matter.
Who knows?
yeah. I'm gonna tell the coroner about it, see how he reacts. It's gonna be funny. But yeah, we also got some more gossip about Sandoval and his lack of blood procurement. We also found out where his last batch that he ordered was, which was what, months ago? Did you say?
Yeah. I think go on. There was an there.
I thought they had been ordering Bs.
Yes.
They hadn't ordered As in 7 months.
Yes. Yeah. They dropped down on their the higher grade stuff that most of the aristocracy would drink. So the fact that Sandoval's on B grade bullshit, it's the difference between drinking, I don't know, let's say a decent rum to something like Coors.
Franzia Bucks wine?
Or White Claw, yeah. It's the difference between a decent rum and White Claw.
Well.
Listen, I'm not even going to say anything.
Fair. So yeah, and we got they were having blood sent to a very odd address in the coin floor. And we were like, that's interesting. Let's go fuck with that for a start. So we got lots of blood. I think 5 cases, was it?
Yeah.
Which Dorian caringly and lovingly packed into his bag at the holding. And then unpacked on the other side. You can almost see the vein pulsating in his forehead. So on the way back with our newfound information, we kind of, I don't know, just stopped by the Merchant Guild's office and threw a huge spanner in the work. They were not expecting us. They were not expecting us to be us, and they certainly weren't expecting us to have seals of a house in the court. She was pretty irked by this turn of events.
Fancy that.
Could have just said, I'd have fucked off in the first place, saved me the hassle and the money. But she wasn't to know that this is a new development, so hey ho, what's the pity? One up for us. But we passed on the information that maybe because the old Doctore are kind of running things for the Sandovals as far as all of the shit they're doing, that they might be using a building in their district for their nefarious gains. So she was like, fine, fuck them, I'll close it down, it's yours now. I think that's how it went, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was like, I'll close it down. Garrett's like, well, I could use a warehouse. And she's like, done. Vanya's merry band of misfits. Definitely not cultists. They got carte blanche to work in the district. And Reza got herself a little shop so she could start peddling her own stony wares.
Yeah.
And then back off to the Folly, where Cypher did some experimenting. It didn't go well. It sort of worked, but had some repercussions because you rolled terribly. Well, not terribly, just not great.
Oh, what were you trying to do with those experiments?
Well, we found out that those little shiny fucking glow gems are actually ancient crystallized souls. Haha. which
What?
is weird because
Yeah, yeah.
like,
no,
their entire civilization was lit by, like, the entire city
By the
below is
dead.
lit by these things.
yeah.
That's a lot of fucking souls.
Mm.
Just for some mood lighting.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know, it's and what do you get when you cast a 7th level spell through an object that wasn't really meant for that sort of power?
Listen.
What do you get when you cast a 7th level spell through something that wasn't made for that power, Cypher?
You're a teeny tiny little, like, it's hardly noticeable. It's just a little crack. It's surface level at best.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
On his obelisk. Don't worry about it.
Just again to reiterate what I said. 7th level spell is pretty fucking powerful.
Turns out 7th level spell is pretty fucking powerful.
So, we shall see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Because surely nothing bad can happen.
I mean, it's not like there's an angry Sandoval in the obelisk or anything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just to remind ourselves, what did it cost to erect that in the first place?
Round about 300 souls of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Plus any that were pulled in during the fight.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't you worry? What are you worried about?
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm just looking forward to seeing what you try and do to repair this crack in an obelisk made out of stone that's thousands of years old, soaked in the necrotic energies of the city below, with hundreds of souls piled into it. Yeah. But it's only a minor thing. Don't worry about it. Anything else?
I can't remember. Did anybody else get up to anything? Cool. we ended with a little strategy meeting with old Valentina turning back up and being like, "Hey, something weird's going on in Dirktown." We'd already been told that Dirktown was a likely place because Dorian had getting documents pointing towards large amounts of food or water being ferried there. So now we have the proof, and one of our little spy girls is missing the teeth to go show for it. Apparently, she had to be, what was the term? Adequately seasoned to fit in.
Probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah. Not that they kick the shit out of her. Like, yeah, go be a spy.
They're nothing if not thorough with their cover stories.
Yeah, but it's all right because Garrett fucking feeds them portions, so safe. So now they can do it again. Yay! Okay, it's fun.
Welcome to another story.
Welcome to another story. Yeah, so that's what happened last session.
Cool. Thank you. So with that said, then, pick things up where we left off last week, which I believe was down in. Do we need?
Circle?
Yeah. Do we need to go back to the Shadow Circle, or is everyone sort of know what they want to do and start going about doing so? What's the plan?
Well,
Go on, Garrett. Go on, Garrett.
before I go anywhere, I've got a knife to absorb.
You have. Yes. All right. So whilst everyone's having a quick think on what they're doing, Garrett, what's all this then? Because if I remember rightly, it's been like 50 sessions since you...
I know, I'm trying to remember how I did it.
It can be completely new. It's entirely on you. Oh, look at me. I'm a poet.
Right. So, Garrett has a new knife. So I retired to the fawn room. To my little patch of grass and snowdrop. Sit down cross-legged and draw the new dagger out of my teeth. If you give me a second, I'll actually remember what it was called. The clean cut dagger.
The clean
There we
cut.
go. And I hold it in my right hand. And the psionic magic starts coming out of my palm, and it slowly starts covering the knife, like ice crystals forming up a metal surface. Until the whole knife's covered and glowing in a icy blue hue. And then it starts to vibrate slightly. And then steam. And then melt into my hand. Till it's completely disappeared. And then with a flick of my wrist, a perfect replica of that dagger now sits in my hand.
Remind us very quickly what the clean cut dagger is.
It is a dagger that cuts such clean wounds that you have +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with this magical weapon. And it scores a critical hit on a 19 or 20. Additionally, when you deal damage to a creature with this magical weapon, its hit point maximum is also reduced by the amount of damage you dealt with the magical weapon. This reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. So that's filth.
It's pretty good. So, whilst you were recounting how you've broken down the clean cut and absorbed it, your psychic blade, or at least your main hand, now manifests as the clean cut. Those attributes I've now transferred to your psychic blades.
Cool.
And I will very quickly just up your crit modifier. So you now crit on a 19. Boom.
Splendiferous.
That's not bad. It's a bit filth, but the DM's done what
Only
he's done.
downside is
Go on.
there's only one downside is I can't now trade it.
That is correct. That is correct. As it is now naught but no doubt a pile of ash in front of you on the desk in the throne room. All right, that's done. That's now all been added and calculated. Congrats on your new stabby, on your new shanker.
Oh, very much.
So, whilst Garrett's been absorbing this new blade, what's the rest of you? What are you up to?
Well, Dorian has gone and gotten his armor on, and he's got a cloak that he's going to wear over it. Because he's feeling like this is the place where they're at. It's now best to just be prepared at all times because of the fact that they're dealing with people scampering around in the dark and So he'll just adopt the typical look of, cloaked figure who goes about their business.
Okay. Are you going out anywhere, or are you remaining?
Well, that'll take a little while. He's going to remain at the Folly. He's going to get that set up, make sure everything's in good order, and he'll put his helmet on his belt so he can put that on if he has to. But yeah, he's just going to get ready.
Okay.
And think over what needs to be done.
Vanya, Reza, Cypher, anything from you three?
Vanya would. How much time do they have before all of this?
It's entirely up to you. At the minute, this is that moment now where I'm basically waiting for you to give me an in. So it's your morning.
Well, Vanya is going to run to the Sisterhood really quick to check up on her, what would you call it? Her quest for them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Vanya, set out from the Folly and begin to head down the streets. It doesn't take you long to reach the outside doors to the Sisterhood. You're greeted by two sisters who offer you a respectful bow or half curtsy as you step into the now grand-ish hall of the Sisterhood. It's even more paintings and murals are on the wall at this point. The statue at the far end of the room has several torches now placed around it and braziers that are burning to illuminate the visage of the happy healer even more.
All right, so she's gonna enter in and she's gonna say, "Oh, my sisters, it's good to see you."
You are met with... bear with me. Okay, so as you step in, the happy smiling form of Gina begins to bound down the center of the chamber towards you. Her rough and ready voice bellows out, "Oh, the happy healer has returned to us. Oh, how are you? How are you?" She begins to prostrate herself on the ground.
Oh, quite wonderful. Could be better once I see where Edith's at.
Gina looks up. There's a slight frown on her features. Of course, Edith is in the in the office at the moment, tending to a few contracts. When's the next chance that we will hear one of your talks, my lady? We've missed them as of late.
Soon, when I have something to share with you all. And let me say, I saw that. And remember to rise above the doubts, because you were born to shine.
Ah, yes, you are right. Even shadows cannot exist when there is light nearby, my lady. Yes, I will take your words to heart.
Now remember, doubt may knock, but faith will always answer the door. And that's me. I will answer your door.
Gina presses her head to the cobbles below in thankful praise, giving you a moment to step away towards the back office where Edith is sat tending to the various tomes and documents.
Oh, Edith. What do you have for me today?
With a bright smiley, this spins round. Edith, even, you're not Edith. Edith spins round on the wooden chair, looks up at you, eyes bright and wide. My lady, you have returned. Well, things are going incredibly well. Yes, incredibly, marvellously well. Which I'm happy to report.
Oh, success begins with a single step forward, and you, my friend, have taken it boldly. How is the quest that I sent you on to gather some of the items that I requested?
Well, about that, she moves towards the side of the room and reveals a wooden crate that she throws a leather blanket off. Most things are here if you wish to check them. I'm going to give you the... Remind us what exactly it was again. for those who are not aware.
So she requested a large goose egg. And then she requested for the sisters to collect some innocent blood, but not harm, just to for those that are willing to give it, and to offer a little bit of coin for their donation.
As you peer over into the crate, there are 8 large ceramic urns that have been had like a piece of twine and leather over the top to seal it. Those urns contain the blood, my lady, and as for the eggs, she points to 3 large eggs bundled in cloth, tucked to the other side of the crate.
Oh, let's look at the eggs.
Of course. After you.
She's gonna go very carefully unwrapping one at a time.
Roll me a slight hand. No, I'm joking.
Oh.
No, don't.
Dropped.
All right, as you take the first egg in hand and look over it, roll me an animal handling check, please. It's definitely an egg. It's roughly 6 inches in diameter. It's quite a large egg. White with a mottled green spotty pattern around the middle.
I would say that Vanya would feel kind of quite comfortable with that, because she's never really seen a goose egg, but she knows that they're larger, and so she's gonna say, "Well done, Edith. Let's look at the other ones." And she will softly place that back into the crate.
The other ones. So with that roll, I'm gonna encompass all of it. The second egg is slightly larger, about 8 inches in diameter. This time, instead of it being white, the shell is a very dark brown colour with slightly red spots on the top and bottom. And last but not least is the third egg, slightly smaller, about probably 5 inches or so. This one is pure black. It looks, at a quick glance, looks more like a precious gemstone, like opal or jet, rather than it being an egg. But again, upon closer inspection, it is a large black egg.
Well, they all look a little different, Edith, but you know what? I love options. And Oh, go ahead.
Everyone we approached, they all said these were the egg of goose. So we decided to acquire all three.
Well done, because I like to have backups in the event that, one doesn't work. So I am going to take all of these. I need a room. Let's go to a room, and no one is allowed to enter this room.
I have the perfect place. I was hoping to hold off a little longer before showing you, but come, you're going to love it.
Oh, is it going to have maybe a tub or something in there? I'm going to need something
Something
rather
wait,
large.
my lady. And grasping your hand, Vanya, Edith will lead you back into the main chamber towards the very back, where at the base of the statue, it seems that a new large stone slab has been placed on the floor. Roughly 1.5 meters in width and length, and she lifts it up with a bit of a grunt, moves it aside, which reveals a wooden ladder that descends below the sisterhood. So, the reason you've not seen many of the other initiates, we've had them working on just moving a little bit of the earth below, and, well, it turns out underneath a lot of the buildings around here, there's just so many unused basements and cellars that were, I just don't know, either unused or... Anyway, look. She begins to guide you through a space below the sisterhood that is probably equal in size, with a multitude of smaller rooms that branch off from a central corridor that runs the length of the basement.
Would she kind of feel like it's very familiar?
It's similar architecture to the Undercroft. It's old basement levels that were built beneath some of the buildings in lower streets.
Oh, Edith, this is perfect. We could do so much with this down here, but until this project is complete, I advise no one else to come down here for a little while until I tell you that it's safe. Okay?
Of course, my lady. That's so you not the entire area, or just one of these rooms in particular?
Oh, just one of the rooms. I'll just lock off one of the rooms. But I need a room that has kind of like a. Do you have one that has maybe like a tub or something?
No, but
that
if you can give me a few hours, I can certainly send some people out to acquire whatever you wish. A tub? Consider it done, my lady. Anything else?
No, I think that is it. I just need something that I could put the eggs in and be able to submerge it and nothing leaks out.
Perhaps a barrel would be better?
Oh, yes. Do you have a barrel? I don't have a couple of hours. I need to get back. If
of
you
course.
could get a barrel from upstairs.
Yes.
Great.
I'll do so immediately. And with that, Edith shoots off down the basement corridor to the wooden ladder at the far end, back up, which pops out at the back of the statue. Vanya, you would hear a for a brief moment, muttered words said. Cypher?
Yes, darling.
Are you the one going down with the barrel?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, that wasn't got there, but
Well, so
I do love a spanner in the works.
above, what happened, Cypher? Why are you here?
Well, Sci-Fi was wondering how the group was getting on, and he wanted to test a theory about the statue, because last time I wasn't sure about if it was the statue or the people that were making him feel uncomfortable. So he's like, well, I'll just go while Vanya's there, see what's what. Saw Vanya talk to the large smiling lady She said her name. He promptly forgot it, but give her some lovely platitudes because he heard about, there can't be light without the darkness, and he was like, "Oh yes, yes, give her some platitudes. Yes, you're doing indeed great work." He give her the spiel of, "Oh, you're a great protector of your family, and your faith is strong, unbreaking. You're like a true paladin of the cause." And left her with a, once again, creepy smile on her face, and went looking for Vanya when he bumped into
Edith. So, at the top, as you've just finished talking with Gina, you head towards the cipher, towards the statue cipher, and that's where you see the head of Edith just pop out from this hatch in the floor behind the statue, and she looks at you, eyes wide for a moment, tilts her head. Oh, hello.
Curious. Is Vanya around? I mean, is Her Eminence the Happy Healer around?
She is, yes. I'm just getting a barrel for her, but, I'm not... Oh, this is awkward. I've been told no one's really meant to be going down there. Sure. In fact, the work's not done yet, so I assume it's fine for the minute, especially with it being you. Can you carry things?
No. I could help.
Marvellous. Brilliant. In that case, she heads off to the side, taps a barrel. If you can just help me downstairs with this. My lady is in the lower chambers.
The lower You don't say. The lower chambers. How extraordinary. Yes, come on. Shall we bring a barrel down to Milady?
So, Cypher, Edith spends a few moments. I would imagine you probably secretly use a few shadows to help ease this barrel down slowly.
100%. He's using, like, aggressive shade and helpful shade, all to carry it. So he's just, like, got his arms there. He's just got these two shades just carrying it for him. Luckily enough, once they're in there, it's dark. So.
Edith's at the top with a piece of rope around the top of the barrel, struggling and heaving as she tries to lower it down, completely unaware that these shadows are just taking it down easy.
Yeah.
There you are. If you could let my lady know, I'm going to see if I can find any other ones on the off chance that one has a leak.
Very well.
Vanya, you would hear, no doubt at this point, the return call of very well from Cypher in the lower chambers.
Cypher! How are you?
Well, I was good, but now I'm curious.
Well, I mean, isn't this magnificent? We've got more space.
You do. How interesting.
I wonder.
How far have they gone?
There's a couple of corridors. I'm kind of on a mission right now. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I don't know if they've gone down.
I don't know if you recall our first encounter with going into places like this. Do you remember?
Yes, it was very dangerous, so that's why I'm using this first room.
Ah, yes. Well, do make sure your sisters are taking all precautions. We wouldn't want a silent one running amok in the city because they let it out. Because they're digging into places they shouldn't be.
We should put a wall up or something. What do you recommend, Cypher?
I recommend not expanding too much. But yes, wall off any entrances that you find quickly.
Then maybe we can come back and explore after about a month, right?
You're interested in exploring?
Well, I mean, that's why I thought you were down here. Maybe you were interested in exploring, and since this is my place, I would like to know, what you find.
No, oh no, I was here for something totally unrelated to the City of Blue, but this is quite spectacular.
Oh, is that my barrel?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
can you just pull it in here?
Seth clicks his fingers, and two shadows emerge and pick up a barrel and lift it. He's like, yes, I suppose I could.
Oh, you do that effortlessly. There's this crate right out there too. Can you? But be very, very, very gentle. Just set it
Why?
beside
What's
there.
in the crate? And Cypher's over there, opening it up, having a look into it.
Eggs.
Oh. Well, that's less interesting.
Make yourself useful while you're here. So here's what's gonna happen. I am going to, hold on. How do we make sure that this doesn't have a leak in it? Do you have the water thing?
No, it's squarely in Dorian's possession, I do believe.
Could you,
What?
No, I wouldn't ask you to do that.
What?
Maybe create some water in it
No,
somehow.
I'm
I'll
afraid.
look away.
No.
Do you not create water?
No. No. What?
Never mind.
Besides, I thought conjuration magic would be more your specialty than mine.
Well, let me just put a little bit of... Let's see. Would she be able to maybe... Okay, here's what she's gonna do.
Okay.
All right. I'll RP it out here.
Mhm.
Cypher, I want you to kind of crouch down, and I am going to very lightly prestidigitation some wind in the barrel, and you tell me if you feel any air coming out. Like,
Yeah.
just kind of crouch down around the barrel, run your hands up and down it, and then kind of go around in circles.
Fine, I shall play along with your little game.
And she's going to start putting just a little bit of air.
Cypher, you spend the next minute or so just circling the barrel, putting your face close to the wood, and no, you don't feel a puff of air. You don't see any dust blow out from any potential cracks or breaches in the barrel. It seems, for all intents and purposes, to be watertight.
It seems fine, I guess.
Oh, perfect. All right. 1 second.
It's a
So she's... Do what?
Yeah, his headset's just died. Go on.
Oh, okay. So she's going to start slowly grabbing each egg, but she's going to put all 3 eggs into this barrel.
Okay.
And then just slowly placing them in there. And then but before she does anything else, because I think you had said that she knew how to do this, or that she would know about it.
You've got a rough idea. Yes, it's certain ways of... I'm going to leave it to you, basically. I'm gonna see what you come up with.
Okay, but
But
before
for-
she does it,
For all intents and purposes, yes, you certainly have an idea of a possible way to make something.
Well, so she kind of places the eggs in there, and she says, before we continue, Cypher, hold on. And she's going to pull out her tome, the wizard tome. I'm trying to remember what it's called.
The Enchanted Tome.
The Enchanted Tome. And she's going to scribble in there, hi, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. And kind of starting off with like lightheartedness, and then say, if I was to create something, and she would have written the name in there.
Oh, that tome.
Yeah, that tome.
The Forbidden Tome. Okay, not the other one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then say, can you provide me with a list of the steps of what I need to do to be successful?
How do we do this? Sure. Why not? Why not? As you write your question down, the page or the words begin to swirl and contort into a jagged outline of a almost pencil-drawn face. And as the face begins to assemble on this page in front of you, the eyes blink twice. It's a very featureless face, apart from eyes, the shading for nose and the mouth. And it looks from the page up at you, Vanya. List of these sort of things? Paltry matter! Too easy. Give me something harder.
And then she's going to write in there, prove to me that you know this, and then I will give you something harder.
See, at this point, the face is there, and you just write. You don't have to write on my face. You can just ask me the question. You've summoned me already, have you not, wench? God.
This is my first time with this book.
I'm not a book, you fatted creature. Do you not know who I am?
Can Cypher hear the book, or is it just Vanya that can hear it?
I'm gonna. That's a good question.
Interesting.
That's a very good question. I'm going to say in this instance, it is talking aloud. So, Cypher, yes. Can, on this occasion, because you've not, granted it, you can ask it to speak just to you, through message. This is basically the consciousness of a wizard trapped in a book, who doesn't seem to be fully aware that he is a wizard trapped in a book. So yeah, Cypher, you would have heard this booming voice ring out from the book.
She's gonna make like eye contact with Cypher, like, this is ridiculous, kind of.
What is it you wish to know exactly regarding these ingredients? Ask the great Alakar, and I shall perhaps bestow my knowledge upon you. As fine apprentice that you are.
Yes, let the magic within you guide me towards my greatness. What I am looking for is just the steps and the ingredients. What order?
For a chimeric creation, his eyes on the page begin to flicker for a moment. Place the items you wish to grow first.
Then, once that has been done, you must soak them in the usual liquids or balms, fluids, that is your medium. That is the usual way for creating these sort of chimeric beasts. And once that is done, that's your first few preparations, then comes the enchantment.
Cypher hears the words chimeric beast and it's like, I'm going to wait upstairs. That way. What I don't know, I can't say.
Cypher, before you go, will you
Yes?
talk with Edith and let her know to close up any large gaping holes down here?
Large gaping. Yes?
You know, like for their safety.
Well, I'm afraid that's already far too late. It's large gaping holes that got them in this mess. Cypher will head up the ladder.
Don't know what that means, but what's the enchantment?
Depends on... I can...
The face on the page begins to dissipate, and on the other page, on the other side of the book, Vanya, you begin to see a few incantations and spells start to flash up. Roll me a quick Arcana check.
Here's the list of the books that I own. You can borrow them for a time being.
The 3 spells that have been shown on this page are... Ooh, it's not hag magic. It's very much arcane in nature, but all of them seem to point towards a similar outcome of imbuing life or animation into objects. One's for something like a golem, others is for animating objects. But you get the impression that the magic you've read from the nurse's chambers is very similar to the magics that he's showing you here. Just obviously with hag magic, it's usually a little darker than what this ancient wizard knows. But in a nutshell, it reinforces you can put 2 and 2 together to come up with an effective ritual.
Okay. So she's gonna thank the individual. Thank you. This is all that I needed. You can go back to what you were doing, and she just slammed.
You're welcome, my...
And she's gonna put it away, and then she is going to start filling the barrel with the containers, and then also she's gonna take out that one flask that she had also gotten with the group, and pour all of that in there, and then she's going to put her hands over the barrel and kind of lean over it. Just take a deep breath and kind of blow on the blood, and then chants, "Break the shell, let life unfold, a creature born brave and bold."
With that said, do you wish to burn a spell slot to empower this incantation?
Let's do it. Why not?
What level spell would you like to burn?
Oh gosh, Solution. He's trying to get rid of my Let's just this is the first time. She might be able to if it's not completely successful, continue to make more. So she's just going to do a second level.
Okay. you're going to spend a second level spell slot to empower.
You put the fear in me.
There is a brief arcane resonance around the room. A bluish, purplish hued light emits from your hand that seems to encompass the barrel. Only for a split second, and then silence. What do you do?
Well, she would have also seen in the tome that it takes a while, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For something like this, definitely will take a while before there's any sign of whether it works or not.
So she's gonna put the lid on it, so that nothing can get into it to contaminate it, and then she's going to go out the door and push some things up against the door to try to keep individuals out.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got faith in Edith of, she runs a tight ship. She knows
Absolutely.
that nobody's going to go wandering in there. And then she's going to feel good about herself and go upstairs to find Cypher to micromanage him to make sure that he went and talked to Edith.
Cypher, as Vanya begins to ascend the wooden steps, what are you up to? Back into the Sisterhood of the Rose Cross?
Well, of course, he's talking to Edith, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said he would do.
Yeah. So, stood next to Cypher is Edith, looking up, nodding furiously. What's the conversation?
So Cypher talked, briefly said, you should. The Happy Healer said you should not expand anymore. Close off any holes just as a precaution for now, and later when our strength is gathered, we shall branch out into not only the living world but the world below.
The world below as well. Of course. But yes, we need more members, more individuals to assist with things before we can start. Oh, I understand. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. And like every good house, you need pillars to hold up the faith, Like yourself, you're like a true pillar of faith in this community.
Oh, I am. Yes. Oh, your words are... Thank you. Thank you. She then turns, sees you, Vanya, arise from the hole in the ground and offers a respectful bow of the head. Welcome back, my lady. Don't worry, we have been informed, and we're not to... it will be blocked off, and none others will go down there for the foreseeable future until, we've expanded, grown our influence.
Well done. Well done. Now you can stay focused on your other goals, and of course, greatness awaits your dedication. I will also add, the collection of the blood that we were talking about can cease for now until further guidance is given to you.
Oh, are you sure? They will be terribly upset, but very well. Very well.
Oh, but do tell them in the future, once we have established a more efficient way to store our items would be the word, right, Cypher? Then we may proceed. I see the area that you have discovered below. Once we start working on that could be a good play, for sure.
Of course,
but we'll
yes.
hold off for now. Yeah.
And understood, my lady. Then, business as usual. Then. And Edith claps her hands together, grins widely, giving you both a chance to head back, if that's the plan.
That's the plan for Vanya. And if Cypher's going, she'll just follow beside him.
Yeah, Cypher's already started. He's planted some seeds, so he's on his way.
Excellent. All right. Shall we, before we... well, with that said, you both depart the Sisterhood of the Rose Cross, make your way back into the folly downstairs. Back to the Shadowed Circle. And it's here we will take a brief refill clock, BRB.
Lovely.
Yep.
Good, because Jump is losing her shit.
Also, I'm going to take this opportunity to say... Night Viper, thank you for the follow, and welcome into to the madness. I appreciate it. I appreciate it immensely. Yeah, we are going to take a very brief break just to refill our drinks. Grab a drink, go to the loo. Yeah, we'll be right back. Words are difficult. It's Sunday.
Back.
Welcome back.
Thank you for your assistance.
Yeah.
I'm back 'cause I never left.
Bladder of steel, this one.
I might have gone while y'all were doing that shit.
It's fair.
Could have used that for my barrel.
Ew. You end up making a fucking piss demon.
It'd probably just smell terrible and... Ugh.
It's like Garnak's workshop all over again. Alright. I am back. With a fresh drink.
Isn't that the one that polymorphed me? Or is that a different
No,
one?
that was a different one. The polymorph one was... Oh, what was his name? Shit.
Did not like that guy.
His name wasn't shit.
No, well, it was, because he got turned into it. Oh, I can't remember. Hey, Rayvon, how you doing? All right, so, with that said then, Cypher, Vanya, you return back to the Baron's Folly and the Shadowed Circle below. Reza. We've not heard from you yet.
Yes.
What have you been up to? Anything in particular?
Oh yes, Reza has been very busy. She's been making a list in her private room.
And checking it twice?
No,
No?
no, just
Okay.
the last few days, several things have happened, and she just kind of is taking a moment or 10 to kind of just jot down everything that needs to get done. And when she's done with that, she's going to go walk over and have a chat with Garrett if he's still in the Thorn Room.
Okay. Is Garrett still in the Thorn Room?
Of course he is.
Of course he is. So, as expected, Reza, you approach the Thorn Room. Elias is already pulling back the roots of the door to let you in and revealing Garrett. What's Garrett currently up to? Is this at the end of your absorption of the clean cut dagger, or are you up to something else, Garrett?
I have got Elias to extend the Thorn Room a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, I've got a feeling I'm going to need more mushroom.
So at the far end of the room, Reza, as you step in, you would just see, it almost looks like a blender of thorns and roots just whipping around as various roots from Elias are digging through the dirt. Other roots are hanging down, scooping mounds of dirt and old bits of masonry away, and taking them and sticking them to the sides of the walls, absorbing it into the soil above, so on and so forth. It's quite an industrious-looking operation. No doubt, Garrett, you're stood there with your hands on your hips, looking pretty smug.
Oh, no, I'm digging furrows in the ground
All
with mould earth.
Oh, shit. Over to you two.
Farmer now.
There's a farmer. Hey, Elias is a combine harvester. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Curious?
We're going to need more stock for the vampire reserve bloodshot.
Yes. There's and she's holding a parchment in her hand with a long bulleted list on it, and she just waves it briefly. We have a lot to do, Garrett. There's the investigation of the Doctora in Dirktown. We need to set up the new coin flow warehouse. We need to let Telba know that he's retired. We need to set up a Bloodworks delivery to the new coin flow warehouse to supply your vampire bloodshot empire. And also, I thought it'd probably be a good idea if we convert some coin to gold bars so we fit in a little bit more when we make purchases at the Bloodwork. You know, he did mention that he expected us to have gold bars, and I don't want anything to appear off. Also, and she pauses briefly, looking down at her list in case Garrett wants to get a word in.
No, I'm mentally storing it all away as I'm digging furrows.
Also, I need to get Arabetha set up to get my new shop set up in the coin flow. I feel like there was something else that I'm forgetting. You missed a spot.
Oh, bloody hell. 1 second. I flick my wrist, and a perfect furrow then appears.
That's much better.
Yes, once these are growing, I'll be free to leave. It shouldn't take me more than a few more minutes.
Then we also need to check in with Falco. I need to give him my old bag of holding. He probably needs it.
Yes, he should be around somewhere. Last time I saw him, he was upstairs in the foyer, muttering about how overworked he was.
And overpaid, but anyway.
He's worth it. He takes the jobs off my shoulders.
Yes, that's very true. Very true. Well, what should we tackle first?
Hmm. Well, we'll get everyone together and see what they need to do, and then if push comes to shove, we'll just grab a job each if need be.
All right. I suppose I'll go up and wait by the bar. Look, were you saying something?
Well, no, I haven't seen Cypher in a while, and it's quiet, so Vanya's not here.
Yes, it is. It's quite nice right now, actually.
That's why I thought I'd get a little bit of the preparation work done.
Hmm.
But in response to your gold bars, yeah, leave that with me, and I'll attend to it.
Lovely, thank you. Right, well,
I've also, before you leave, I've also earmarked the funds for the account with the blood work.
Oh, you have?
Yes, it'll take up a lot of our operating budget, but it'll make life easier in the long run.
You have to spend money to make money.
Oh yes, and once I can start selling to vampires, I would believe, what's the term? We'll be dripping in cash.
Yes, most likely. Right, well, I will leave you to the digging, and I'm going to go up and wait in the bar, the fight pit bar, till everybody gets back.
Marvelous. I will meet you there as soon as I hear voices.
Elias, please make sure he hears the voices when everybody is back.
A root twitches in acknowledgement. Sort of rears up, looks like a salute, and then goes back to moving dirt at the far end of the room.
And with that, Reza will head to the Shadowed Circle bar.
Dorian, are you there?
Dorian will at that point be overlooking the bar. He's been hoping that a messenger will come with word from the Hestwood estate, so he's spending a bit of time there.
I'm going to say there has been. It's so a little earlier when you entered the bar, the young individual behind the bar, Alistair, would see you approach. Ah, good morning, Master Dorian.
And you?
Working our way down from upstairs, something came for you earlier. He reaches under the bar and takes out a scroll, piece of ribbon wrapped around with a blue wax seal as he extends over the counter towards you.
Very well, thank you.
Came a little earlier. Falco from upstairs was trying to catch you, but I mean, you've seen the state he's in recently, so...
Yes, well, Falco does run himself ragged, perhaps a bit more than necessary, so I will take that under advisement as well.
With the parchment in hand, what do you want to do with it?
Well, he has that. He's gonna have to read that soon. But if people are
You've got
being
time.
that he doesn't really want to have anyone see him, he'll go down to the shadowed circle, basically, to pull up a chair and read this in relative peace.
All right. So with you sat down, again, this is before Reza steps into the bar area. It give you enough time to read over the note. It's brief. Very brief. But penned in a familiar hand. Maybe not familiar to you personally, but certainly you have the memories of the script, and it is of Jordan's father.
Mm-hmm.
The note reads, I'm not sure what you want, nor what you expect from I. But I will do you the privilege of allowing me to hear you out. With the
What a cock.
with the stamp of the Hesswood household underneath it. Not even signed. It's very... It almost feels like a very business-like affair.
Oh, yes. That's that's enough. So with that, he's going to get himself just a small drink and sit back and just ponder how to go about this, because he's probably got one chance. And yes, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It's going to be awful. That makes it more fun.
This was a very loving letter from a parental figure, I'll have you know. It probably took all of his self-control to write it as pleasantly as he did. Who knows?
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
But having read through this very brief note, Dorian, you would hear the door open to the side, and Reza, this is where you would step into the Shadowed Circle bar.
She'll order a drink and then go sit in the same table or booth where Dorian is, and give him a nod of greeting as she sits down and stares at her list and reaches out to pet Munchie, because obviously Munchie immediately appears when she walks in the door and just starts scratching his ears.
Fine, hang on. No, that's a... it's not a bad portrait. Yeah, why not? Because it's not exactly true cat-like, but...
That's not bad.
It's a little Panther-esque, but it's this cat's was...
Work on it.
Yeah, yeah, we'll work on it. All right. So yeah, with this small, not so much small, but this black cat now sat on the table between you, Reza, and Dorian. It looks up towards you, Reza, enjoys the scratches before lazily curling around into a melted puddle. Not physically, cat, just as they do, when they go all flat like
Yeah.
I didn't, yeah.
Anything interesting happening for you today, Dorian?
Well, at some point soon there will be. And he's going to take the note and pin it to the table with the finger and slide it towards where Reza is. So she can kind of get an idea of what it is.
And she slides the parchment over to herself with one finger and scans it. relation of yours?
Oh, yes. The master of the Hestwood estate and household. So, in a way, I suppose. Should be fun. Interesting to see what comes of this.
Indeed.
I imagine that a sibling and a parent and potentially some guards would be there. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do about this.
Let me know if you would like an interesting companion for the visit.
Perhaps for the best. I'll let you know. I just have to think about what I'm going to try to do here. Could be very helpful or a bit of a hindrance, you know? I don't want to create any problems more than we already have.
Indeed, we've quite the list, and she taps the piece of paper in front of her.
Well, let's not forget we have ascertained a route by which the Doctore leader is going to and from the city. Well, not the city proper, but you know what I mean, the office.
Oh, yes, right. And she starts scribbling an addition to her list.
Yes. There's the... In a way, it's a bit clever to go where you know your opposition doesn't have eyes, and on the other, a bit foolish to put yourself in a more exposed and secluded place.
Indeed.
Very well. Just determining what to do first, really.
I was having a similar conversation with Garrett. He'll be up soon, and when the others are back, perhaps it's time we have a group discussion and decide the paths forward and who's going to follow which one.
Yes.
It would be a... So go on.
No, yeah, I'm just killing time until...
Yeah, I was about to say, it would probably be round about this sort of time. Cypher and Vanya would return from their outing. Bursting through the door, Cypher, what's the conversation between you both?
Cypher's trying to get across his 4 pillars of faith towards Vanya. Just think about granting them the titles. You know, they do the work. The 4 pillars of the community. You know, the healer, the cleric, the protector, the paladin. You know,
Like giving my sisters those titles? Is that what you're saying?
yes, of course. Why not?
Like what did you feel like Edith would be? Which one would she be?
Oh, she's the speaker, right?
Yeah, she's kind of my right, left. She's my hands.
Cardinal. Yes, she's definitely a cardinal. Yes.
Cardinal. So there's Cardinal, there's Paladin, there's
Cleric.
Cleric. There's one more, right?
Yes. The one that goes out and wanders. What's the name for it?
Nomad?
No, there's a proper name for it.
Wanderer?
Like that, but more regal.
Ooh.
Missionary. With Garrett
Good.
Walton.
Oh.
By all that is divine in the Nine Hells. Garrett, don't do that.
Oh, so it's not a missionary?
No, it is a missionary.
Oh.
He's absolutely correct. It's just he has to sneak up on people.
Oh, I just thought you were telling him not to call people missionaries. Okay.
Yes, the missionary. Yes, there you go. Your 4 pillars of your faith. Would you like it?
I do. do. Can we tack some additional words on there? The Cardinal Sister, the Paladin Sister, the Happy Paladin.
Sister? Yes, very, very eloquent of you. Well done.
I like it. Garrett, we
Run.
found some underneath things. Well, my sisters found some rooms, some basements. Right, Cypher, didn't she? Well, Edith told me about it. I mean, it wasn't her alone, but they've been,
Excavating.
yes.
We
Just
have,
be careful.
yes, my words exactly. They have stunted what they were expanding.
Yes, I had Cypher tell Edith, the Cardinal, to stop expansion and seal up any gaping holes.
What's everyone else going to be called?
Well, the others will have Paladin, Cleric, and Missionary in there.
Yes, but there's more than 4 people in your order. What do you call the everyday folks?
The Sisters.
Brothers and sisters of happiness.
We'll workshop that. Should we give them numbers?
No, because then you have to start doing paperwork.
Oh, you're right. But if they all wear name badges,
That's not a bad idea because I don't remember anybody's name.
they all have the same name. That does solve that problem, doesn't it, Reza?
Sure?
But then what if I'm in a group of a bunch of
Oh.
them?
Break them down by experience. Initiate for the newer, adepts for the more adepts, and for the true believers for the ones that have been there from the beginning. True believers, yes.
Make them feel like they have something to work towards, like a
Exactly.
promotion. It gives
Yes.
them more hope.
Like you could give them special pins when they reach each rank.
Oh. And the pen gets bigger with each rank.
Yes, no precious gems though. We don't need that nonsense wandering around lower streets. Totally.
Garrett, sorry, what, Cypher?
No gems for the pins. Nothing valuable. Keep it simple.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I think we can do that, but still intricate, still nice.
And have
Garrett-
them make it. Garrett's busy.
You could have an arts and crafts session.
But Garrett does an excellent job. I was just gonna ask him, how'd you know that Garrett, I need let's do about 2,000 of them.
I
Because
think
we're
that
gonna
would
grow.
probably be a good way to ingratiate yourself with the business owners of CoinFlow was to spend some coin.
I mean, you may have a point there.
That's the best way to make friends with any business owner is to spend money at their business.
And then maybe they'll join.
At the very least, they won't be hostile.
Speaking of business, Vanya, maybe later on we should get together and I might have an idea for some coin for you.
I mean, you've had some excellent ideas here lately, so, of course. I can pencil you in.
Wonderful.
Also, Cypher and Reza, at some point I would like your help with something. It's not
Good.
important right now, but
Oh, well,
I'm going to need some help with production of bloodshot.
All right.
wait, why do you need my help for that?
Well, I like those creations of yours down by your sanctum. Could they be given rudimentary tasks?
Possibly. Or, and now hear me out, because you've given me a wonderful idea. What if we created our own automaton?
I'm listening.
We do that.
I know the theory behind it. And we know they're powered by the gems that we use. Alternatively, I have a pristine, and he pulls out the crystallized soul that he took back from Vanya. Something more new and fresh and powerful. More efficient.
We wouldn't need anything as large as the ones I have up in the city, but maybe something more my size.
Exactly. We could tailor it to do a specific job. We would, however, need considerably more blood.
Roll a history check,
I don't think
Cypher.
that'll be it.
History check.
Mm-hmm.
22.
You're also going to need some form of engineer or blacksmith, because I can tell you straight off the bat, you know Dwen's not the one for this.
In that case, he's got to look at Reza and be like, also, we're going to need a very competent blacksmith. And he smiles.
Like Forge District blacksmith.
Oh, a Forge District blacksmith.
You're going to need... So that's one thing you will have picked up, is a lot of the Forge District is where the main industry of the city resides. This includes the parts potentially for the Warden's automaton force. So you're gonna probably need to probe that part of the city. You know the theory, but behind the armored shell, who knows what goes on there?
Okay, so we're probably going to need several blacksmiths. Precision blacksmiths.
Cypher,
Yes?
I did halt my blood operation for a little bit, and that was only because I have learned how to make those bottles, and I wanted to get some of those crafted, would you say, before continuing that, but could that help you?
Possibly, but we'd need to know the schematics of an automaton first. I think it'd be the more efficient method than golems are simple creatures. Delicate, or any task that doesn't include tearing something into teeny tiny little pieces is probably beyond them.
Okay, well, food for thought.
Hmm.
We'll deal with our current task, and we'll revisit it once We have the time.
It's like
Yes.
Reza's list that was already long. It's just gone.
Yeah, that's what time we're in for now. Okay. So, as we're all here, I believe her ladyship has got a list for us.
She does, but Reza, at this moment in
It's on
time,
the loo.
is currently face down into Munchie, ruffling his fur, scratching behind his ears, having a bit of a moment with the cat. Dorian, anything you want to add to this?
Well, while we're doing all this, suppose so we should probably have either Valentina or someone go up to the Dirt Town to look around, see if we can't find any of our Doctor compatriots up there. I know it's less business, but we do have to keep up our end of a bargain, and he's going to fish his Vulpescu pen out and tap on it.
Never enough hours in a day. But yes. They've already sent one girl in to Dirktown, I recall. This might take a bit more of a hands-on approach.
Sounds about right.
From what Valentina said, they're openly working in Dirktown. Like, they have that area of the city on lock.
Maybe we should travel up there ourselves at some stage and get the lay of the land. I don't believe I've ever been to Dirktown.
Looks like Dorian's already suited and booted for the occasion.
Well, I figured it would be best to be ready if we had to do something quickly. And this might be a bit more pressing than other business that I have.
Yes, all the little tasks I have can wait. But yes, we did bargain in good faith.
And we are on a timetable.
We are indeed. Yes, things like my warehouse and thing aren't gonna run away after all.
Well, I had to get my things started as soon as possible, so that's what I went and did today. But I am all free now.
Yes, and my next crop's been planted. Elias can look after it for the time being.
So, back to the task at hand it is then.
I believe so. And we managed it without a list. Fantastic.
So how do we get to Dirktown?
That's a good question. Let us check the map.
To the map.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. The common stocks, I believe, should have ferries that go there.
There's a couple of bridges that lead from Polter District over. In fact, yeah, there's a single crossing. No doubt there would be.
Oh, you go.
You go.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
We could cross to West Commons and then through the Sapphire Gate.
Hmm.
Or from Poulter straight up.
Well, seeing as though we own Polter, I'd feel safer going from there because that's our territory.
Mm.
That way, if shit
Yeah.
goes wrong, we have a place to fall back to, eh?
Yes, yes.
However, there is the keep. And it is filled with wardens, if we need them.
Yeah.
That is a shout, but the best, if we can avoid relying on them, it would be best
Yes.
not to tip our hands too quickly.
I think this visit, stealth, is more important than throwing our weight around.
Stealth it is. And then Cypher settles his eye on Vanya. Stealth.
So,
15
does this Reza doesn't own us this time, right?
Right, but you're wearing yellow.
This is nice.
It's very lovely, yes, dear. However,
We're going to a dirty, dirty slum, and you wouldn't want to get that lovely yellow dress all mucky now, would you?
It's what? Reza, can I go look at your closet?
Wait a moment. Wait a moment.
At this point, Reza raises her head from having using the cat as a pillow.
Wait a minute. Did everybody just hear that? Vanya wants to look at my closet.
Yeah, I only have nice things.
and there it is.
Normal service has been resumed.
No.
Fine.
This-
I remember what one of your dresses looks like, and she uses the Troubadour refinery to make a copy of it.
Throw it up in chat, just to remind us. Nice.
I said
Oh.
refinery.
Throw it up in chat, just to remind yourself. So yeah, in a quick flicker of, in fact, how does it look for you, Vanya? How do your clothes change?
I like to think of it kind of like a Cinderella type moment where, except
do
for
a
you're
twirl.
not getting the and you're not getting the beautiful gown that's coming out of it. It's the rags.
Wait, what's happening? Where are we going? That's a really dangerous, guys.
Dirktown.
Yes. How did you nearly get smothered by a cat? You don't breathe.
I didn't get smothered. I fell asleep.
Hang on, I've got this. That's how you know you're dead. Do I do that right?
Garrett's on the scoreboard. See
Yeah.
what you've done now. See what you've done now.
It's my fault.
Thought you didn't sleep.
She doesn't. That's how we know she's dead.
Is Vanya on the scoreboard now too?
No, I took that one. That one's mine.
Okay, point for you. All right, okay.
Wait, where's my point?
If you don't say the words, you don't get the point. Them's the rules.
Yes, and even dead things obey the rules.
That's how we know we're dead.
Fucking Cypher.
So, as now you're awakened from your cat-like slumber, we're going to have a little jaunt into Dirktown on the quiet and have a little poke around.
Oh, all right. So Reza will open up her bag of holding and pull out an old cloak the original cloak she was wearing when they all first met, and it looks a little shabby, and she throws it over her nice cloak, and it covers them both. And now she looks like she blends in perfectly.
Marvelous. So I'm just going to nip back to the thought. Actually, no, I've got it in my bag of holding. I'll pull out of my bag of holding. Oh, it's so nice having a bag of holding.
Well,
So much shit in this.
My less flashy garb. Remove all the bling apart from my ring. Well, unless anyone needs to do anything else, shall we make a move?
No, I think I'm ready now that I've gotten that touch of insomnia. Oh no, wait, no, that's the opposite. Out of my system, and she tucks her to-do list into her bag of holding.
I believe the word you were looking for was narcolepsy, my lady.
I knew that. I knew that.
All right then. Shall we go?
Mm.
I think we'll keep the badges on us, but we'll hide them unless we need them.
Sounds like a plan.
It does, doesn't it? What do you know about Dirktown, Dorian? You ever been there? You have any memories of there?
Not much, honestly. It's what I know of it is that the lower streets is considered the slums. Balta, Pico, and Dirktown is somehow even more of slums where it's hard to know.
You can roll me a history check if you want, Dorian. If you would like some knowledge from your office days.
We'll give it a shot here.
So there isn't a great deal of information about Dirktown in the archives at the Lower Streets Administration Office. The reason being is that most people tend to stay away from the odd gossip that you've heard and the occasional bit of conversation. It's mostly shanties. Everyone, even people of Polter, Pike, Low Streets, deem those who live in Dirktown as just scum, as the lowest of the low. Why they haven't left Dirktown and just gone to live in the forest, it would have done the city a favour. That's the general consensus you get. And for a 5, I'll give you a question. I'll be generous.
The only question is there's the town office in Lower Streets. Is there something that's supposed to be that to the effect?
No.
In Dirktown?
No, Dirktown is pretty much an illegal slum to an extent. It's where those who have either been kicked out of those who have been kicked out of the slums, who have got nowhere else to go, are ushered across the canal to that side of the city and left to their own devices. It's lawless. it's certainly unclean, and there is no care whatsoever. When the wardens switch over from the Dirktown Keep, most people tend to hide in their hovels because if anyone's out on the street, it has been known for the wardens to just cut them down in to cull the vermin, as that's the word that's been battered around the administration office.
Ah. Well, all we need to know is that anyone out there has next to nothing to lose. It makes sense for the Doctor to go out there and prop themselves up as the friends of the people there, because it wouldn't take much at all.
Interesting.
Aside from the keep out there, I can't think of anywhere where people would base themselves out if the Doctor are there, and wardens are wardens, so I highly doubt that they're up there.
Should make the Doctor easier spot, though.
You'd think with their masks. I wonder if maybe they've got a boat or something out there.
No, they've got at least one, because that's how their leader is going towards your office, is it not?
I believe that they were taking a cart overland around and coming in from the west.
They used a cart to transport a crate from somewhere around here, but they did have a rowboat that crossed the canal towards Dirktown. That's what
All right.
That was mentioned by one of the Sisters of Sin. But one thing you will know is that the slums extend behind the raggedy buildings towards the coast.
It's basically a wooden favela down there, is it?
It goes from ramshackle buildings, like leaning wooden shacks and muddy pathways, walls patched with planks, bits of metal and scrap, or whatever they could find. And those are the sturdier buildings. The closer you get away from the main road towards the coast, that's where it turns into wooden shanties or linen tents.
Lovely.
It's a bad place. The worst. Again, the only people who are on the same line are those who live on the outskirts of the forest. The difference is, at least the people who live in the forest have got space. Whereas those in Dirktown are sardined together.
Dorian,
Then... Yes.
do you think maybe they might have some kind of basement or underground there too, and maybe are using the facade, this broken down, rickety facade as a cover, and they're just living life of luxury down below?
Life of luxury is hardly likely, but the likelihood they found a basement or made themselves a tunnel sounds likely, perhaps. Though I think that out that far, there aren't even any spots where the city below would be popping up through for them to get to. But you never know. Suppose we'll have to go have a look.
Well, I'm ready if you are.
I think Dorian was the first one, really, honestly.
Oh yes, do Lance. Be a little bit of a walk. We have to go by out past the table to get to a bridge where we don't have to come from the commons.
True. I do know a shortcut if you guys want to take it.
And what's that?
Well,
Perhaps that shaves not that long off. We should probably just walk it, honestly.
fair enough. Shave 5-10 minutes off, but I guess we could. The old-fashioned way it is.
Oh, that gives me more time to tell you guys what I have planned for in the coin flow.
Are you sure we don't want to take the portal to the society and then walk from
Perhaps we can. Oh.
You need something from the society because you sound quite.
No, I just want to get there sooner.
Yes.
Will you, though?
Yes.
Will you?
Yeah, if we get caught up talking, though, we could be there for a long time. Come on, let's walk it. At the very least, we could always cut across the farmland and go cross country.
Oh, good. Mushroom fields. Shall we?
Do let's then.
Off we go.
So, with everyone prepped and ready, you set off from the Shadowed Circle, meandering your way through lower streets and into the slightly muddy, gravel-laden roads that lead through the farmlands, mushroom lands, on the outskirts of lower streets and Polter. Eventually, you would reach the border between the farmlands and the Polter districts, back to cobbled roads. Everyone roll me a. Let's have a look. What haven't we used? What haven't we used in a long while?
One thing I'd like to say is once we get into because this is not the route we normally take. Once we get to like the open area with like the open ground, Dorian's going to be looking around to see if there's anybody following or watching, because in his mind there's a possibility that the Doctore have an idea of who they are and where they might be or where they frequent, so they might have people following.
Can I ask first then, everyone to roll me a survival check, please?
Reza was also doing that.
Are we not going to use your special button?
Yeah, you know what? Good point. We will. We will use the special button. Yeah, we'll just have a.
Means I'll have to click one button then.
Yeah.
Not that I'm lazy at all, but.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's. I forgot we had it. Bum 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 bum. So with you all making your way through the back streets, again full of mud, loose gravel, there'd be a multitude of cart tracks and footprints. It's not great. It's not the easiest place to walk or navigate, especially when it's unlit.
And you're wearing armor.
And you're wearing armor. So.
I should have say natural 20 and max
on
proficiency there.
On a DC 13 survival check, Cypher, Dorian, Reza, Vanya, you're not going to get out of this completely clean. whilst you all think of what happens on this little jaunt through the brief bit of countryside, we'll call a quick break to give you all a moment to think.
All right.
So, yeah, you either fall over or something unpleasant happens. Obviously, nothing that will hurt you, but embarrassing at the very least, sure. We will be right back. I need to refill the old drink. Garrett, I'm also going to need bragging rights from you as to how you put everyone to shame with that roll.
Mm-hmm. Gentleman's 27.
All right.
Okay.
Are we all back?
Yes.
So, who would like to go first with your rural escapades?
I'll go.
Go on, Reza.
Reza. She grew up in Kartop. She's used to not having roads, so she's making her way just fine, but deliberately splashing in puddles and slick spots of mud. So her boots and the edges of her cloak are filthy. And as a bonus, she gets mud all over Vanya.
All right. Yeah, you just kick through every single puddle, every single patch of mud, and absolutely boots filthy, cloak up to the thighs at the back, also coated. We'll go Vanya next then. Vanya, what happens to you on this little outdoor vaunt?
Well, she has probably slipped and fell about 3 times. And after every time that she tries to prestidigitation, like to clean herself, the Reza's splashing gets her, and she's getting so frustrated. And finally, she takes out her transmuter stone so that she can increase her walking speed to get in front of her. and is just like kind of just slipping on the mud, but trying to get through it as quickly as possible, but has just given up on cleaning herself up because it's just a waste of time.
It's helping us all fit in better. Don't worry about it.
Cypher, what about you?
Well, Cypher was following in Rez's footsteps, jumping in puddles, having mud, until he jumped in a puddle that turned out to be waist deep. He is now sulking at the back of the pack, not jumping in any more puddles.
All right, last but not least, for the failures, Dorian.
Dorian has managed to find a single spot on the road that is just like this, like the stage that just comes just before a sinkhole of just mud, but not just mud, but like that mud that is like super fine mud, like almost quicksand, and he ends up falling into this getting sucked down to the point where his entire leg is a burst, and he spends minutes just having to pull himself out of this thing. Luckily not losing his boot or anything, but as a result of this, he is caked in mud. Like one entire leg is caked in mud. His cloak is mud all the way up to his waist. And he's just covered in cake. He even has it now in his hair, on his face. Just, it is miserable.
This was the greatest decision you ever made. I love it. So whilst all this is happening on this journey, and so much misery and sorrow, Garrett, what about you?
Well, Garrett's strolling ahead at the front, his hands behind his back, in the like a man without a care in the world, just looking at how the mushrooms are growing out here, seeing if there's anything he can bring back to improve the growth in the fauna room. As he walks, his feet don't even leave footprints in the mud. When he goes by a puddle, there's not a ripple on the surface. And it's almost like he's levitating across the mud. There's his boots. They don't make any sound, of course, because they're boots of the silent courier. But they're not even muddy.
What I will say with that roll as well is you start to pick up that there's a lot of the thicker stems of the mushrooms that are harvested from some of the fields are just tossed into giant refuse piles to decompose. And there's a lot of potential composting material that's lying unused. You get the impression that most of the farmers will use some of it, by all means, because mushrooms love filth. But there are, especially in some of the fields, piles that are easily twice the height, of a man, just left to rot and decay. Granted, the smell around the farmlands is ripe.
Pungent.
Very, very pungent, aromatic, due to all of this decaying matter. But it seems that there's some fields are purely being used as a composting dump.
Maybe I'll send someone there to gather some for me and bring it back.
So with the rural jaunt finally over and you reach civilization again in the outskirts of the Polter district, Reza, Dorian, roll me perception checks, please.
Of course. Oh.
Ooh. You are that pissed off, you are on the ball. Due to the outer areas being pitch black, apart from the very occasional lantern. Now, these are not the magical crystal lanterns that light the streets. In the rural areas, it is whale oil lanterns, and it's pretty much down to the local farmers of that area to light the lanterns if they need illumination. So the vast majority of the trek is in the darkness of Novostoya, giving you complete concealment. You may occasionally meet the odd mushroom courier, the odd farmer with a wagon full of mushrooms moving between fields or down towards either Kartov or towards Market Row, but none really seem to take much notice of you, especially due to the fact that you're all now covered in mud. You fit in. You look like part of the one of the locals. As you get towards Polter District, you begin to pick out a few individuals of the lesser gangs that police Polter District. And it's also here that you would notice that there is a lack of Doctore. You don't see any of the familiar black leather coats, no one looking in your direction, shiftily eyeing you. Get the impression that your trip's unknown, you're safe.
Off.
Mm.
So the question now, with you being in Polter, is what's the plan to get across?
Right. Well, we're going to avoid the Fank Table because it's well known that we are
Associates.
associates of this. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Didn't think of the word. But we do know of a gentleman with a barge that
You got
we
wooden
would give him a
tokens
wooden
for.
token. He will take us to the other side. No questions asked.
Yeah. So it wasn't just that man. If you remember the exact words, it's many of the
Yeah.
peddlers on the waters here, those with little canoes or barges, rowboats. These wooden tokens will work regardless. So, is that the plan?
That is the plan. We're not going
Yeah,
to use
just-
the bridge because that's obvious.
Yeah. So we just troll the canal looking for just a local barge that can fit us all on, get us across.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You make your way down to the water's edge at Dirktown, and it's not long until you see a older gentleman on a rowboat moving some cargo down, and with a quick shout, he rows over to you. A few hushed words between you are whispered, a token exchanged, and you are ferried across the canal from Polter District to Dirktown. Doesn't take long. It's only a short 15-minute row. Granted, it would be quicker if the man wasn't 60, 70 years old, missing most of his fingers on his left hand. He's got a leather strap that he uses on the left-hand oar. But eventually you reach one of the dilapidated and rotting wooden piers on the opposite side of the canal. Here, well, it's some of the architecture is very similar to what you're used to in Polter. Is a few stone buildings, at least at the water's edge. But as you step off and onto the pier and begin to make your way into Dirktown itself, those few wooden buildings immediately show to be ruins, dilapidated in state. What stonework was once there that has now fallen has been patched up by boards, planks. The second and third floors are practically shacks of warped wood and salvaged metals and various other materials, and they lean precariously across the streets. Narrow alleys seem to wind between every single building of these these shanty establishments. There's no glass, no windows. Everything's covered with either linen or some form of fabric to act as a windbreaker or a privacy shield. Grime, filth, dirt, caked at the sides of the streets. And again, the streets themselves can't really even be called streets. They are probably in worse condition than the rural gravel roads you've just been through. It's just, at this point, mud that's been trampled down over and over by hundreds, thousands of slum dwellers. And with the close proximity to the canal on one side and the ocean on the other, this is practically marshland, a swamp that it's been built on. Welcome to Dirktown.
What about the people?
The vast majority of the people who you can see, at least those who aren't indoors, huddled around burning pieces of driftwood or other scrap and salvage at each street corner. Clothing, best described as optional. It's purely a place of squalor, unpleasant. It reeks of stale sweat, the unwashed masses of just general rot, pestilence, uncleanliness.
Do we sense any magic, and do we see any blue glows?
I'm not even going to ask you to roll for that. No, there is no. The only lighting here are candles or the occasional whale oil lantern, maybe a few barrels that have been set alight. Again, the people here, they have nothing. And if there were any magical implements, no doubt they would have been stolen and sold off.
Fair.
Does anybody look like, is anyone looking like, underneath the veneer of mud that they're wearing nicer clothing?
As you make your way onto one of the main streets, the central strip that runs Dirktown, again, there's a vast amount of people outside, some toing and froing. Those who have somewhat nicer clothes would be those who seem to be running smaller stalls, street vendors here selling whatever goes by as food here. It may be dried seaweed or other things that have washed up from the waters, or there is a single vendor selling for a high price a charred, heavily grilled alligator-looking beast that was no doubt dragged out of the canal. But even he has 4 or 5 rough-looking individuals acting as guards. You wouldn't see anyone wearing posh. No one's doing what you're doing. At least not at a cursory glance. No, there aren't any posh-looking people in rags over the top.
How well are we fitting in, if at all?
Not very well at all. Yes, you're dirty. Yes, you're caked in mud. But compared to the vast majority of people, you stand out a fair bit.
We still have teeth.
You still have teeth? Is certainly a good way of putting it, yep. You seem to blend in more with some of the street vendors who are a little bit more flush. The only difference is that those vendors who are flush seem to have a gang of individuals protecting them, whereas there's just you 5 in dirty robes or dirty cloaks.
Russell's gonna kind of like start doing a slightly hitchy limp when she walks, and then approach one of the vendors Oh. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm just lost the picture I wanted. God damn it! One job, DM. One job. That's a good one. We'll have that one. And come on, give me something dirty, something filthy. Yeah. Last but not least, talk amongst yourself for just 2 moments while I finalize this little bit.
Well, before Reza goes over to talk to someone, she's going to just like whisper to the group, since I imagine we're all clustered. Follow my lead. I'm going to try and get some information.
Okay.
Yes, well. Remember when Porter was a shithole and we thought that was the worst it could be?
We
How
were
wrong we were.
Yes.
Dirty, I'm cold.
Sounds like this would be a perfect place for your sisters to come then.
Does need some facelift or something.
Yes, to spread the message of positivity in the muddy, wet corridors.
I suggest bringing food or something with you. People listen a lot better when they've got a full belly.
I have my snacks.
You're welcome.
Well, I don't think you want to be giving away your snacks, so you might find yourself short of reason on your own.
Nobody's seen any sign of the Doctora yet?
Well, let's see what this gentleman has to say. And Reza kind of does her slight hitching walk over and nods toward the merchant and all the guards around him. It was like, some bloke saying my mate over here could sell his potatoes to some fucker down here. Had a real posh leather coat on.
Yeah,
You know of such a place?
Hey God, hey God. The man leans in towards you, Reza. You gotta be keeping your voice down here. You said you've got some potatoes. Fucking hell.
No.
Most will mug you for
No.
that, sweetheart.
Not with me. We come to check it out first.
Oh, why? You know where to get some, do you? I may not be interested in buying a few if you've got them. I'll give you a good price. How's about, let's say 5 copper coins a tater. That'll see you right straight, won't it?
She kind of squints at him. Can she tell what's his level of, like, business savvy? What's the vibe she gets from him?
Roll me an insight check.
He's in Dirktown.
Straight off the bat, without even a roll, you can certainly tell that he is most likely one of the most unscrupulous bastards on this entire street. Purely based on the fact that this guy's got guards. And all of them, whilst dirty, filthy, cut, wounded, some of them are missing hands or toes, parts of their ear, maybe even part of their face for that matter, they're still relatively well in mind and body. So they are being fed. As for his business sense, yeah, it's he is a straight up obvious con man. But when you're probably one of the only people on the street selling food, in this place, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Rose is just gonna stare at him.
Hello? Is it going in? Can you hear me all right? Perhaps, you'd like to, do you not want to earn some coin? No? No?
I don't think you're the fellow I was looking for.
Oh, that's a shame. I could be if you want.
And she just walks away.
Not what you wanted.
My usual tactics don't work here. Refreshing, but also annoying. Anybody else have any ideas?
Let's head a bit more inland. See if we can spy anyone wearing familiar clothing.
I mean, people did say that they were handing out food to the poor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, if you see a queue, that's probably going to be a good place to go.
Better than my idea. Let's go.
You begin to make your way down one of the side streets here, dilapidated tenements and of cracked stone and splintered wood loom over. And from the shadows of the alleys, you would all begin to feel multiple sets of eyes watching you. As you turn to glance in their direction, little forms would just skip away back down the alleys. Everyone who is homeless, who's not living in one of the buildings, would look up at you as you pass. Those who are walking down the streets would stand aside as you approached. You certainly get the impression that you stand out a lot here, and everyone is incredibly wary.
Okay. We dart down an alley. Well, not dart. We move to an alley where I can't see anyone in the dark. I take off my robe. I'm saying it now. I take off my cloak. Strip down to my waist. Take out my disguise kit. And really rough myself up.
Dorian, you do me a favour.
Hmm.
Punch Garrett in the face.
That won't be necessary. I can make a bruise with the kit.
It's a shame.
And with some muscle contractions in my face, I can make it look like my jaw's off to the side a bit. Cover myself in mud. I've still got the can't remember what it's called. What's it called?
Boots of the Silent Courier?
No.
No.
Yeah, I've still got those on.
Yeah.
No, the new thing I've got.
The
malicious skin, because it's fused with my skin.
Yeah.
Until I want to take it off.
In fact, if anything, Garrett, That on its own makes you look pretty ill.
Yeah.
As it's
Reza's gonna
Go on, Reza.
take a cue from Garrett and mutter an incantation and cast Disguise Self.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's looking about a foot shorter, mousy brown hair, one eye looking off in another direction, gaunt, ragged clothing barely hanging on to her starving frame.
Vanya, begrudgingly. She's just like, this is the worst. This is the worst thing we've ever done. And she pulls out the elixir of fragrance and drinks it.
Oh no!
And she just thinks it and wills it to smell like she had soiled herself. Just shit her pants just running down her legs.
All of a sudden in the alley, this place is already unpleasant, but this fresh aroma just begins to rise from Vanya, assailing everyone's senses. Oh, I'm so happy. So happy. How long have you had that now?
Oh my gosh, forever. I'm like, just holding on to it for the perfect time, and I felt like this was it.
Cyber uses his changeling powers to remove his nose. So he just has a hole in his face, so he's disfigured as fuck. So he's gonna blend in and take a cue from everybody, and remove his nose so he doesn't have to smell bad yet.
Genius, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dorian, what are we doing with you?
Dorian doesn't have the capacity to really use magic that way. Like, he is completely covered in mud. And he's just very large.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's going to do is he's going to try to lean down, act kind of like he's hunched.
Yeah.
Hunt. He'll do his best to put on the air that he's not he's not going to walk completely upright and draw attention that way. He's going to be big regardless of what he does. So yeah, that's all he can really do.
It's covered in mud, hunchbacked, looking pretty brutish, like some sort of mutant. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, I'm going to use my disguise kit to dirty up his face, give him a big scar running across his cheek. Pick up a dirty, filthy bit of tarp and wrap it round him like a makeshift cloak.
I like it.
That'll do.
This has got the image of Garrett cutting the side of somebody's house. It's been like, yeah, you don't need that wall.
Reza just mutters to Cypher. You didn't have to take your nose off. You don't need to breathe. That's how I know you're dead.
Damn it! And he fucking whistles through the hole in his face.
So with the band of... we started this campaign as misfits, and it's only took us 74 episodes to get to the point where you actually look the part completely. Congrats. You step out of the alley into the streets, probably from a different direction. You follow the alleys behind these houses and shanties and shacks snake around. They're almost amazing to themselves, so you can easily work your way around the back of a few houses and come out where you were before, but further down, giving the impression that you are not the people who went in there. Immediately, you would see a couple of people looking down the road where you came from. Hushed whispers as one of the little shadows that you sensed earlier darts out from a street towards this group huddled by a fire. This young boy wearing nothing but a piece of linen as a wraparound, hair missing, scars, bruises everywhere, just goes, "The strangers, they're coming still. They're making the way that they're asking for food. Don't tell them. Don't tell them." And he then rushes up to you, sees you all, like, "Quick, hide. People asking questions."
I just mutter and start slinking off in small shuffling steps further into the shadows where the child's sort of pointing.
They point towards you, Dorian. You need to hide him. It's they want to know about the food and they're asking things, so we don't want that to happen again. Not if the black robes come round now. Quick. I've got to tell the others. And he quickly scoots off. Oops, go on.
Reza's just gonna, snarl at him. Stay quiet.
Sorry. And he says sorry as he scoots off, and you see him run to another group near a fire. Tells them, you would imagine the same thing, and they start to wrap their cloaks around their head. Any bits of clothing that they do have, they use as masks, and they take the position that you've seen a lot of the others take since you arrived on the main street of Dirktown, and starting to retract in.
Unintended consequences, I guess.
Everybody's in on it.
We do seem to fit in, though.
Now.
Let's keep deep in the shadows as we can. And keep moving.
Probably best.
Do you have anywhere in mind that you're going, or is it just a case of skulking around?
Skulking around, looking for gatherings of people in obvious doctory uniform.
Okay. So.
Trying to keep up with Devania, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Reza's also keeping track of the time, because she's only got an hour on Disguise Self.
So. Let's find out, shall we? Da-da-da. What do we find? Holy shit. Some solid rolls from everyone. Reza.
Almost everyone.
You seem to be focusing too much on, maybe not panicking, but you are very much aware of
the time crunch.
The time crunch of the spell. So you, rather than keeping an eye out for gatherings, you're more concerned on if anyone's watching you. The rest of you, though, do begin to see dotted around through various streets and alleys, especially the further away from the main street from where you originally started, as you begin to make your way towards the Commons district and that side of Dirktown. Word has of these questionable people hasn't reached this part of town. It's probably due to the fact that you fell off the face of the earth not long ago. But it is here, closer to some of the larger buildings that are still standing. You begin to see signs of people gathering. And whispers that it's nearly time. We should start moving towards the north to get our daily ration. And it's also here where you would start to see, people making their way out of their houses. Not in a huge group. It's not a disorderly throng of people. It seems to be one from every household leaves. One from every group on the street departs. There is some order to this, and the local inhabitants, whilst may not have they may not be the brightest sparks, but something's certainly been ingrained in them that you can't just all go and turn up at a place.
Are they carrying something with them? Like, something that would signify, that they should be in line? Kind of like an invitation type thing?
Nope. No invitation. Nothing at all. The only thing they carry, some would carry empty jugs or half-broken wooden plates, things that could contain items. Some would have sacks or other containers, but no paperwork, nothing that would identify, no marks, no nothing of that ilk.
Let's get in a position where we can see what's going on. And if need be, one of us might join this queue, but I want to know what's happening first.
Well, only one way to go then.
Shall we disperse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the group will kind of break up and follow the migration, as it was.
Yeah. It's a quiet migration, but an obvious one. Sorry, go on, Lenya.
As she breaks up, like, she's still gonna be kind of like watching that and moving with that, but she's gonna look for something, maybe like a broken container or something that if in the event that they needed to get in line, that they had something to get some of the rations.
Absolutely. I'm going to say you find a broken piece of crate that would easily work as a plate. Oh, look, I'm a poet again. Oh. So yeah.
I don't like that.
I'm on a roll this session. So yeah, you use a piece of crate that could be used as a tray to fool anyone who looks at you. With that said, though, you all begin to make your way, either together or separately, with the crowd towards the northern edge of Dirktown. Here, the vast majority of the buildings are not just wooden shacks. The ground is no longer steady, it's purely swampland, mud. And every person in this mass seems to struggle getting through the mud. But you do see, just off, tucked away behind a few shanties, an old ruin of what appears to have been a barn or a storehouse, a grain silo at one point in time. There are some differences to it, though. There is a single banner, a black grey banner that's draped from the front with a white cross painted on the front. Here, you would see a queue forming, and stood outside of this silo, the familiar form of a member of the Morbus Doctore. Not shouting or barking orders at the people, but just occasionally moving them into a line. You would hear the muffled shout every now and again from within the silo of "Next!" A person would step into the silo. After a few moments, "Next one!" Another person would go in. And on the opposite side of the silo, you would see people leaving. Stumbling out of the back. Whatever sacks they brought with them. I wouldn't say stuffed with food, but you would see plates that have got things such as hard bread rolls, hard tack, or other non-perishable items placed on. If they...
You said stumbling?
Yes. Yes.
Like, so they weren't stumbling before, and now they were?
They went in looking bad, they came out looking worse.
Do they look like they've lost some blood?
You're probably the only one who may know. Roll me an insight check, Reza.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting that close to the exit queue at least. Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah?
I think she's wandering around like there's something wrong with her mentally and...
Roll me a deception check.
Okay.
Also, hello, GM Night Fox. Hello, Yeti. I saw you both in there. How are you? 14 on both. All right. You managed to stumble your way around for a little bit, bumping into, or at least close by, to some of these people who have stumbled out the back of the silo. They seem to be taking another route back towards Dirktown, and you would certainly feel from them that they are not... The best way to put this. You have the innate ability to feel the pulse of living creatures nearby, I would say, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It's certainly slowed with those stepping out, so it absolutely would give you the impression that they have lost blood. You can't physically tell because everyone looks equally shit. There's no obvious telltale signs apart from the fact that they stumble out of the back, some of them incredibly weak, but with food in hand. Confirming that
she's...
Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
And I say, confirming this, though, eventually you would have one of the masked Doctore point towards you with a club and then just give you a quick ushering in the direction of the queue. No words are spoken from him, but it's pretty obvious the universal sign of get to the queue or you get a beating.
She's gonna pretend like, she's so delirious she didn't know she was in the wrong place. And allow herself to be moved to the correct place.
He puts the club, the billy club, on the side of your arm and just ushers you quite forcefully, but not aggressively, in the direction of the other queue before taking his position.
You don't put it so... You thank you.
Back of the queue. Are the only words that are muttered, muffled from the mask. And even then, they seem to be slurred or guttural in pronunciation. But that could just be the mask.
So we all see
You would see
Frickin'
Reza,
Reza.
yeah, getting pushed. You wouldn't hear the conversation. This is sort of towards the back, the opposite side of this. So this grain silo, just to give you a bit of scale, is roughly 20 meters wide, probably about the same again in depth. There's a silo on one side that leads to a dilapidated barn, and with the barn, this is where people are going in and coming out the back. Reza made her way roughly around the side where the people are coming out on the opposite side, looking unwell.
From that interaction with the Doctori, did like his movements and his voice give the same vibe as the people we fought in the streets? Like he's
Absolutely
not okay, so yeah. He's not fully in charge.
Absolutely,
okay.
Yeah. Every Doctori you've met since that scuffle seem to have this same vibe about them, and they're nothing like the original Doctori you fought many months back. Much more robotic or stiff in their movements, and the odd times they have spoke has been very guttural, very slurry, as if they can't truly form the words. But again, who knows? They've got a big leather mask on. Rest of you, what are you doing? Go on, Garrett, go on.
I take it all the business is happening at the front by the silo.
Yep.
So the back of the barn is just the exit, and there's one guard by the back?
Correct. Yes. There aren't many Doctori here. You've got two guards at the front and one at the back that you can see whilst you're mingling around.
And the Doctor at the back's keeping an eye on the back door?
Correct.
Cool. I am going to go take a wide movement round the back.
Mm-hmm.
Stealthing through the shadows like a stealthy thing.
Just for the sake of you saying that word, give me a roll to see just how stealthy you are.
Sneaky bastard check.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry when I see the number. Yeah, I'm gonna cry. That's fine. Go on.
And I'm going to move to a place where I can't see or even feel anyone around me, because everyone's intently looking at the food coming out of the silo. So the populace doesn't even see what's going on.
Absolutely.
And as soon as I work out what I'm doing, it's been ages since I did something stupid as this. I am going to use the malicious skin.
Okay.
Wing. And fly onto the roof behind the silo. So I'm going to come in at the back.
Yep.
Using the silo as cover, and I'm going to land on the roof and see if I can see down into the barn to see what's going on.
So before this happens, Garrett, this is the first time you've used the malicious skin. Give us a refresh. What is it, and what do you now look like?
It's a protective skin made from the flayed skin of a dead celestial that basically gives me corrupted angel sprout from my back.
It's not a pleasant experience.
No.
By any means. As this skin digs into your own flesh and you become one with it. So it's almost like these bones rupture out of your back and sprout, and then the feathers burst. Some falling down, falling off, rotting away, but absolutely, you take to the sky and with a brief arc, land on the silo.
Yeah, instead of like this sort of golden celestial whitish affair, because they're dead and desiccated. They're sort of like a dark browny, almost black colour, and with like a hint of red running through them, which at one time could have been dried blood.
Oh, disgusting. I love it. So, with you on the roof of the silo, you glance down, and these buildings, they've been updated, slightly rebuilt, repurposed, should I say, but it's not completely kept all lines of sight covered. There are still a few holes in the roof leading into the barn and the silo that you are stood on. Glancing down into the silo, Garrett, you would see a single lantern in the center of this round silo, and around the bottom would be 15 to 20 members of the Doctore. All of them stood stationary, heads low, masks pointing towards the floor. You would see a line of tubes that go from each Doctore to what appears to be a bronze boiler, a container in the middle of the room, and then another pipe that leads from the silo to a door leading to the barn. In the barn, you see a somewhat similar scene. A couple of bales of, I'm going to say hay, but it's most likely things such as dried seaweed, bits of wood, makeshift stretchers that have been erected with
Baled filth.
Baled filth, absolutely. With the peasantry, the slum dwellers, laid on pipes from their arm, leading to a similar bronze, brassy canister in the middle of the room, with a pipe leading from that to a crate covered by tarp. So both pipes seem to go, one from this group of Doctore in the silo to this crate, and one from the slum dwellers to this covered crate. Two lines, and these obviously seem to be extracting blood at a glance.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be several members of the Doctore in the barn working on inserting the syringe into the arm, and another individual who's dressed as similar to the Doctore, but his mask is slightly different, and this time he's not wearing the wide-brimmed hat. And he seems to be a lot more animated than the rest, giving you an impression that he's perhaps of the same rank as the leader of the group you fought with the Merchant Guild. And he's the one who sat behind the desk, scribbling on some parchments before working on some apparatus, which is a box made of wood with a few bronze levers, which also tie back to this covered crate behind him. And once one of the people's blood's been drained, the syringe is removed from their arm. He shouts next. The next person comes in. The woozy individual who's had their blood drained, it staggers to the back of the barn, where another member of the Doctore sticks their hand in barrels, crates of hardtack, of bread, of other non-perishable food, slams it onto whatever plate or bag that they've provided, and then pushes them out of the door.
And the crate's covered by like a tarp.
Yeah, covered by a tarp. It's impossible to see. It's got some square corners, some square edges to it. Looks to be a crate with perhaps some form of spherical item alongside it. Roll me a perception check. Through the noise of people talking out front, the wind overhead, you can vaguely make out a noise that sounds very similar to the background noise of the Magister District. Sound of pumping, of steam, bloodwork coming from this covered crate in the corner.
Right.
But
So,
for the moment, I'm going to cut you off there. What are the rest of you doing? We'll come back to you in a minute.
look it up.
So would Vanya have seen Garrett do that to know to cast like a telepathic link?
Roll me a perception check. Probably not, because he was stealthy.
And you
Okay.
rolled like crap.
All right. Well,
So no, you didn't see
She
him do
did-
that.
so she didn't see him do that. She has no idea of like the inner workings, but she is going to pull out her petrified toad
Okay. Okay.
and is gonna warm it up, and because she's towards the back and by the line and all of that, and she's gonna have told the toad when it gets to kind of like a central location, because it's gonna be like location wise, so I wouldn't be able to give it like if there's a desk or
Yeah.
things like that.
go
Would
in, go in there. Go, find a corner, find somewhere dark.
Yeah, find a corner. Yeah, in the centralized. So she's gonna kind of bump into somebody like she's lost her balance and try to put the toad in their pocket.
Yep.
And then so that toad would find a corner whenever they go inside.
Just for thematic, roll me a sleight of hand check.
Gosh.
Awesome. You easily managed to... you bump into the gentleman just in front of you. He's wearing nothing but a piece of linen wrapped around his waist like a makeshift diaper, and you just slip the toad
Between his cheeks.
between his cheeks. He looks around, jumps for a moment. "Yeah, don't touch me, hey weirdo! Bagger off, that's my arse!" Before turning back to the queue. Well, mission accomplished. The toad sits there, ready to jump out when it's safe.
And she'll just kind of, go back into kind of the hiding where she isn't to be seen.
Okay. Cypher, Dorian, anything you two wish to do or find out whilst you're here?
No, Cypher's just gonna watch because Rez is in the queue, and he can see people coming out staggering. So he's kind of, with the talk that they've had, like they're like, "Oh, where's Sandoval getting their blood?" And now he's like, maybe this is where Sandoval's getting their blood. And now he's worried. Fucking Rez is in the queue, and he's like, this might be bad. So Cypher's getting ready to just spring into action, because this could go peak tongue really quick when they try to take blood from a fucking vampire.
Dorian, anything you wish to do or anything you wish to know?
Dorian's just kind of looking around because it seems like there's like a, the doctory outside, and he's trying to get a look at. It looks like people are just funneling into this building, and like the general premise is something that he gets an idea that the doctory are using. They're very fond of using people for experiments and resources, but he's thinking about it's not like they're going to be operating out of a dilapidated barn, so maybe they have a cart or something they're going to transport things away. So he's just
yeah.
Acknowledging that he's but bigger than most people, he's not going to be very good at blending in. He's going to fall away to off to the side, out of the sight of the doctory that are outside, so that he can just basically hunker down and wait for everybody to be on their way back.
Roll me a quick perception check with advantage. Because you've just said that... Yeah, something you said there. That's you're very much on the right track.
Perception.
Oh my god. That's a crit.
Of course it is. Now let's crit.
So, you step away from the throng of people outside this barn silo back towards one of the streets. Not really a street, it's mud path that leads to this area. And just for a brief moment as you're retreating back to hunker down, you, out of the corner of your eye, would see a few forms of two members of the doctory pushing a wagon through the mud. Opposite on the so as you're on this street there, you catch down a side street, down a small alley. Just on the other side, you would see two members of the doctory just very briefly pushing a wagon through the mud in the direction of the silo and the barn, but a little bit out of view of the main path where people are going.
Okay. So, which rough direction are they pushing the wagon?
They're pushing it from somewhere closer to the Commons district in the direction of. Let's just bring the map up. Might be easier for me to explain on the old map of Novostoya.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the moment, this silo and this warehouse is roughly in this location.
Mm.
Just on the outskirts of the main part of Dirktown. This main strip here is the main dirt street that leads the vast majority of the townsfolk, the peasants, the slum dwellers are moving from. It's round about here you would see this wagon being pushed from somewhere in this, originally from this direction. Now, knowing Dirktown, you know there's not a great deal left of Dirktown in that direction as it bumps up to the wall of the West Commons district.
Yes. So at this point, he's thinking that they might actually be coming out of the Sapphire Gate potentially, if they're not over in that part of Dirktown. But he's just gonna sit down because he doesn't want to risk the chance that Van Ryzen might be there and recognize him as who he is. So he's just gonna try to sit tight.
Okay. But yeah, you will get the impression that this wagon seems to have come from the direction, the rough direction. Yes, yeah, south and east. So Sapphire Gate or that part of Dirktown. All right. With that, then, if no one has anything else they wish to add, we'll go back to Garrett. Go on, Reza.
Reza is holding her place in line, and she will walk in when it is her turn.
All right. So, with that said then, we'll flick to Garrett, who would at that moment see Reza is the next in line to go in.
Okay, I am going to.
Oh, I can hear the gears turning.
Can use Psychic Whisper
Okay.
and link my mind to the entire party, and then and then speak to Reza as like, if you go in, they'll take your blood.
I'm going to die before they do.
Next! The man in front of you, Reza.
Reza will
Steps in.
shamble in, and then just kind of like, she gets inside and she's gonna take one quick look at and like kind of like absorb what she sees and maybe take another step and then just exhale and let her body fall like a rag doll to the ground, not breathing.
Oh, fucking smart.
You know how I know you did.
God damn it. That's smart. Alright, so with you being in, as you step through the door, Reza, it's not so much the door, it's more of a the barn door's covered by 2 layers of dirty linen. So you push past both of them into this long barn. You would see a row on the right-hand side of stretchers, makeshift shit bales, as was aptly put earlier, with members of the peasantry laid upon them, with their blood being drained by quite wicked-looking needles that are attached to rubber tubes that leads to this large crate in the corner. To your left, you would see a door that leads into the tower silo next to it, and again a few pipes would seem to snake their way from underneath the door back to this covered crate in the corner, and the man behind the counter would look up from his desk, well, from the counter. The tinted lenses on this man's mask aren't there. They are just clear, see-through, so his eyes would lock onto yours for a brief moment before your eyes roll back and you just drop to the ground. You would hear this cry of, "Oh, no, not another one. Check her. If she's available, drain, process, give them their food and send them on their way. Throw them out the back. If not, then toss her with the rest of the refuse." You hear a guttural
Understood.
from one of the doctore tending to patients as he walks his way over towards you, Reza. Garrett, you would also see this as the doctore staggers down on one knee, puts a hand towards your throat, Reza. Now, this is not a kindly medical professional checking your pulse. This is basically a man slamming his hand over your throat in the vain attempt to try and feel a pulse. There is no finesse to this. He grips you for 5 seconds, 6 seconds, before jerking his head to the side.
Deceased.
Very well. Throw her out the back. If she has any relatives, I'm sure they will come reclaim her at a later time. And at that, the doctore staggers to his feet, grabs you by the hair, Reza, and just begins to drag you through the barn. Out back. Around a corner where there appears to be a ditch. Part of the swamplands that were here before. And you are tossed unceremoniously along with roughly 5 or 6 other bodies that are in this shallow puddle.
Can I attempt to grab him and pull him with me as I fall?
You certainly can. Roll me a... Sounds to me like a... Athletics check.
Yeah, so the way I'm thinking, like, if he's dragging her by her hair, like, the instant he gets ready to toss, she's gonna just reach up and clamp her hands down on his wrist and try and make them roll together.
Yeah.
Into the pit.
Yeah,
Okay.
athletics.
Oh, no. Oh. I was excited because it was not bad, but it's not good enough.
It's not. You do latch onto his wrist as you are tossed forward. You don't go rolling down the incline, nor does he. There's this awkward moment where, as he tosses you out, you grapple his wrist, which causes you to stop, but he's now also there, slightly stooped over, with you holding his wrist. His head twitches to one side slightly as the mask looks down at you. Quizzically. What do you do?
Shit.
5,
This didn't work.
4, 3.
She's gonna go
2.
limp again.
Roll me a deception check. Go on, Garrett.
While this is happening, Garrett sees it from the roof and abandons his original plan and takes off and drops like a bird of prey into the man's back, propelling him forward into the end.
I'll allow it. That's with Reza already taking his attention away. It's not exactly the most deceptive. It's like, oh.
Well, once she realized it didn't work, she's gonna open her eyes and look up at him, and I would imagine she sees Garrett.
It's at
Coming
that
down like Batman.
yeah. It's at that moment where Garrett, I'm gonna need you to make me an acrobatics check, please.
Alrighty.
And can I say that when Reza sees Garrett, she is going to try and activate her holdout ring and hamstring this guy.
Oh, reliable talent. Oh, you jammy bastard.
I tell you what, every roll I've done today, bar one, reliable talents kicked in.
Oh, lucky. Absolutely. I'm going to say, though, with that, you slam into the back of the Doctore, causing him to bowl over. Reza, you are dragged along with him, and Garrett, you too slide down on the back of the Doctore into this pit of bodies. Out of sight of everyone, luckily. I would also imagine
Underwater. So if he shouts, all you get is blub, 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 blub.
All right, yeah. Do you want to say anything or let anyone know or whatever? As he's currently down, his head's blah, 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 in the water.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the rest of the group know through the psychic link that we're gonna need to move sharpish.
Reza's gonna say in Garrett's head, "Fuck, shit, fuck, I was going to try and knock him out all at once and take his coat and go in and replace him."
Dorian, Cypher, Vanya, you hear Garrett in your head like, shit's gone south. What do you three do?
Cypher immediately says back, is it go time? Do we just fucking kill them all?
No, the barn's full. We're outside at the back. One doctor in a ditch, face down in the water. We're okay for now.
Is it still alive?
It's struggling.
Still- it's struggling.
Do you think you could get Dorian over there to restrain it quietly? I'd like to dissect it while it's still alive.
You just reminded me of something.
Dorian,
Sorry, go ahead.
Vanya,
Vanya's gonna ask Garrett if we need to. Do we need to create a diversion, or do I just need to leave? What do I need to do?
If you all make your way to the back without drawing any attention, that would be grand.
I'm on my way.
son of a bitch.
You did this.
Reza,
Dorian, hang on, Dorian.
Dorian, hearing we're gonna have to move quick, is expecting the worst, but not thinking a fight's broken out. So he's gonna get up and start walking around towards. Like, he doesn't want to walk straight through the open and be
Sure.
obvious to the doctor outside unless they're busy with the crowd. But he's trying to maneuver closer towards around the back where he estimates the back would be.
Yeah.
Um,
I could say.
So the best way to
I'm
do
not gonna
that
ask,
is
I'm not gonna ask for
probably-
any rolls. You can do it. You can do it, no problem. There's only one guard at the back who's trying to corral the rest of the people out, so you're fine to do whatever you want.
Yeah, he's just gonna go around until he sees, basically until he gets an idea of where everyone's at right now. But he's expecting to have to maybe run blocking or something.
All right. As you round the corner, along with Cypher and Vanya, Reza, what are you doing?
Reza suddenly remembers that she recently acquired a new object that would be helpful in just this scenario. So she activates her ring of chains and uses the detain feature to wrap it around this Doctori, and then she's looking at Garrett. She says in his mind, let's take him back and see if we can detox him, huh? Get some information.
If we can get him out quietly, yes.
Bubbles are starting to spew. He's still fighting against the chains in the water.
So he technically has to make a dex save on it, DC 15.
I'm going to do it with disadvantage because he's got both of you pinning him down.
Okay.
So disadvantage. Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance.
So he is detained, and if we can make him quiet.
Garrett spawns side dagger, but instead of the sharp edge, he pommel hits him on the back of the head to try and knock him out.
Ooh. No effect. You crack the pommel into the back of the Doctori's head. His head juts forward slightly. But he's still moving. Still gargling. There is you can hear it muttering. But with the mask and the water, no sound's coming out. But it's difficult.
I don't know if this is gonna work because their rolls are insane.
Ooh. So, What are you doing, Vanya?
Well, Vanya is going to try to, she's going to go up to it and, look at it, put her hands on it, and try to make it feel as though we have a connection. That everything in the world is all right because Vanya is there.
The target succeeds automatically if it isn't a humanoid. If you're fighting it...
But I'm not fighting it.
It's being held underwater. He's trying to be drowned. He's trying to be captured.
No,
Yes.
That's not fighting. We're washing the stuff off of him, Solution.
I'll roll it with advantage. I'll roll it with advantage. I gave her the option. I gave her a choice, a chance. But no, it's.
I knew it wasn't go to, but that's what Vanya would do.
Good effort, then.
Reza is slightly panicky with all the splashing, and it's starting to exceed the time it would take to dump a body in a pit and come back in, so she just looks at Garrett and says, "Fuck it." And pulls a bog-looker fang out of her bag of holding.
Yep.
And tries to stab him in the back of the neck with it to paralyze him.
Can't exactly struggle. It's auto hit. You do damage. And come on. Let's go. Let's see what the dice say. Ooh!
14!
Ooh! At that, the body begins to stiffen as the paralysis takes effect.
And 9 points of poison damage.
Well done. The body at that, though, stiffens as it twitches a few times, but the screaming, the muffled shouts from the mask stop.
Reza's gonna twist the mask off, stuff it in her bag of holding, and just be like, "Come on, let's get him out of here."
You're doing what mask? Sorry.
The Doctori mask.
No, you twist the mask, and the mask does not come off.
Oh.
You pull hard, the mask does not come off.
Interesting.
So Garrett picks the guy up and starts shuffling down the waterway away from the
from prying eyes.
Because Garrett's strong.
Garrett is strong. Why? Why, Garrett?
I got some fucking gauntlets of strength.
What idiot gave you those? Damn it, Dorian.
I'm using all my new toys tonight.
Absolutely.
You know, you got to pay it forward. That's all you can do. Just pay it forward a little bit.
So yeah, you all managed to quickly extract yourselves from the situation using the several ditches behind the multitude of shacks and behind the silo and the barn to make a retreat. Not spotted, not seen. Most people who were here are now queued up for their donation and their food.
Mm-hmm. When we get round the corner slightly, so we're away from prying eyes, I tell the rest of the group where we are. And while we're waiting for them to get to us, I'm going to rifle through this guy's pockets and make sure he's got no little surprises that could hurt us.
Surprises. You find one of each of the usual concoctions. A vial of acid and an explosive alchemical fire. His dagger and his sword But apart from that, nothing else of immediate note or
Cool.
of
Does
importance.
Does his coat come off?
The coat comes off, yes.
That's going in the bag of holding as well, then.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. The coat and the
In the
hat.
bag.
coat and the hat, they are removable. But yes, his.
Okay, so everything that can be removed from him is going to be removed from him and put in the bag of holding.
Okay. Stuff it in.
Gonna cover him with mud, and then shit. He's still got the fucking mask on his face.
He's still got the mask on.
Fine. I'm going to wrap him in a dirty, filthy, mud-stained cloak of vileness, like a dead body, and just so his mask's covered, but his head's sort of like pulled forward.
Yeah.
So it just looks like a bound body rather than a Mobus Doctori member.
And it's at that moment, just as you finish wrapping him up and getting his head down, so again, if your head's dropped that far, it's difficult to talk, nevertheless shout. The poison, the paralyzing agent wears off, and you begin to feel this juddering from this Doctore cocoon and muffled, but not loud enough for anyone to overhear.
To get down side where I think his ear is. And be like, you keep quiet or you die.
Roll me an intimidation.
Intimidation.
It's pretty intimidating. But you get the impression
He can't be frightened.
he can't be frightened. The muffled cries continue. But yeah, it's not at the point where anyone, people, if you walked next to someone and showed it to them, they'd hear him. But due to the fact that he's so bound up now, I'm going to say you're pretty safe. You know how to transport someone through back alleys. You'll no doubt have people looking. It's like, okay, go now. You can walk with them. So don't stress too much. You all are more than capable of coordinating to move someone through streets without being seen.
Well, when the rest of the group gets here, I shall pass him off to Dorian, who's just a little bit stronger than me. And I'll take point on getting us through the slums without bumping into people.
I'll also cast a prestidigitation on that. So whenever he is doing his muffled cries, like there'll be like also animal noises that kind of come afterwards, just faint animal noises.
Yeah, or perhaps people coughing, stuff like that, and rat
Just
squeaks.
to kind of distract.
Yeah. All right, excellent. Yeah. Dorian, you've got the joyous task of transporting this Doctore member.
Yes. However, so Dorian's going to take the bundle of Doctore, and he'll carry him along. But if they're going to get to any point like a checkpoint, and they have to get through, he does have the ability to basically garrote people into unconsciousness, and he will use that.
Just strangle it till it stops moving. Nice.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. All right, excellent. Oh God, I forgot you had that. So yeah, you all have the tools necessary to get this guy out of Dirktown without being seen. There is a point where you end up having to grot this guy Garrett, you begin to lead the group through the streets. Reza, what are you doing? Anything you wish to add to it at all?
I think she's probably hanging back
Mhm.
from the group a bit, making sure they are not followed.
Okay, so with you at the back.
And that-
So go on. No, go on.
Yeah, and also using her like survival hunting skills to make sure they aren't leaving any kind of obvious trail.
So the odd stone that's overturned or the odd footprint, you're just going
Yeah.
behind. Excellent.
Yeah.
Alongside the odd coughing noise, the odd muffled shout, the crying, the cawing of a bird in the distance, squeaking of rats from Vanya, who's just left, right, prestidigitation. Last but not least, Cypher, what are you doing to assist on this great escape?
Well, we've got the front and the back covered, so I've got the one of the flanks because I can't cover them both at the same time. So I'm just covering the most likely approach because from the direction that like the Doctori were, so I'm covering that flank. Just make sure nobody's creeping up and nobody sees us. And if anybody does, I'll encourage them to fuck off.
There is a moment where a young kid stops and watches you go by. Do you just tell him to fuck off?
No, Cypher reaches in with a claw-like hand. His hand transforms into this claw-like hand, and he grabs him by the head, pulls him in close, and goes, "Little children shouldn't be seen or heard."
It's not the same kid, but I'm using that portrait because it's disturbing. But
It's
That portrait, by the way.
it is. Where we got this young boy just starts nodding as you hold him aloft by this claw. Yeah, okay. You put him down, he scarpers off. And yeah, I imagine you make it back towards the canal. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
I mean, was it that bad? I don't think so, personally. You bundle the Doctore into the back of the first rowboat, who stops for one of the wooden marks and ships you across to the other side, back to Polter District, to friendly territory. Are you going back to the folly with this guy?
I think Cypher wants to probably take his time with him.
Yes.
We'll go back to the folly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Elias can leach out whatever's in his bloodstream that's made him like this.
If it is in his bloodstream.
Oh, true. We need to experiment on him. Back to the folly.
We need to go somewhere quiet.
Yeah, I think we'll probably enter through the fighting pit entrance and take that route down.
Definitely.
And basically, once we, assuming we arrive and we get there, then there'll be more.
Okay. Let's find out. Yeah.
Been
Are you
waiting.
really? Oh my god. I rolled like hot garbage.
Doesn't matter.
But it's
though.
alright, because everybody fucking covered me.
So with that then, yes, you managed to make your way back through either Polter or back through the farmlands, the rural area, sludged up even more, no doubt, before returning to the Shadowed Circle. And I think on that one, we'll pick up the aftermath of this, not next week, well, the week after. So I don't think we're here next week, are we?
No.
Well, we are on Saturday.
We are, yeah.
Yay!
Very maledictum.
A Pariahs
So-
cliffhanger.
A Pariahs
Special.
cliffhanger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts or anything anyone wishes to add on your journey back to the folly, or the Shadowed Circle, should I say?
I need a bath.
Has it been an hour yet?
Dirty.
Oh yeah. It would by the time you reach back over, it would have been about an hour, if not more. So yeah, Rez's disguise dropped probably as you got to the docks.
Yeah, my stench lasted for an hour, thank goodness.
Yeah, you no longer smell like shit.
Do you have your nose back, Cypher?
Yeah. So as soon as we got close to the canal, Cypher's face had turned back into his.
I'll remove my disguise and release all the clenched muscles in my face to make me look beautiful again.
Awesome. All right. So, with that, if there's nothing anyone else wishes to add, I think that's a pretty good point for us to call it there.
Bye, chat.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
And see you next time, in 2 weeks' time,
2 weeks
on
out.
Pariahs.
Oh. All right. Oh dear. All right, everyone. Thank you as always for joining us for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. I'm going to flick over to the end screen. Yeah, we shall. We won't be here next week, obviously, with it being close to the Christmas time. Surprise, won't be here on the Sunday, but we will be here on Saturday for episode 2 of the Imperial Malediction playthrough. So if you like 40k, join us for that. Otherwise, yeah, let's drop the music. Find something a little more interesting to put on to close out to. As always, thank you for the support. I appreciate the follows. Thank you, Night Viper. Jump, thank you for the 50-month tier 2 resub. Ravon, I don't know if I managed to get it, but thank you for the gift of sub yesterday to Fattiest. Appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm glad to see everyone in. Hey, Mira. Oh, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, welcome to our dark world, folks. Yeah, wrap this up. Throw the music up. Find someone to raid. Everyone, I will see you hopefully on Saturday. But for now, ta-ta.